Clarissa, I want to thank you so much for joining me. You're making history. You're the first person to actually be in studio with me in this podcast
What?
studio. So I just want to thank you for blessing it, for
Of
ordaining
course.
it,
Of
and
course.
especially a super talented woman like yourself. It makes it even more special. But I'm going to start by asking you a question that I ask every guest that appears on this podcast. Name the athlete or the moment that made you love sports.
Honestly, I have to say, like, my love for sports started with seeing Serena Williams play tennis. This was before I was boxing. My grandma was a big Venus and Serena Williams fan, and we watched Dwight Howard growing up when he was a Magic Man and all that stuff. Or was it Magic Man or Miracle? I think it's Magic Man. And I have to say, my grandma always was like, we watched Serena Williams play all the time. So before I even chose boxing, I knew about tennis.
Hmm. Did you ever think about playing tennis because you saw her?
No, but I wanted to do sports though. I played basketball and football growing up and ran track. And then when I turned 11, I started boxing. So
Hmm.
before boxing, I had already kind of known I was an athlete. I ran track. I did karate. I played basketball. I played flag football in school. I played real football with the guys in the hood in the field. I even sprained my wrist one time because one of the guys tackled me.
Oh, y'all was out there for real, like.
Yeah, so I always had love for sports, but I think seeing Serena Williams, I was like, okay, I can do sports, not like tennis, but I can do sports.
Okay, now that Fire Inside, your biopic is out, what does it feel like to finally see this happen? That people are able, well, they will be as of Christmas Day, that people are able to really learn about your story.
I have been in a few of the premieres and to see people reactions as we watch the movie together, and to know that the movie is about me, I'm always just shook, and I'm so excited for the world to see it on Christmas Day. Um, I believe that it's going to change so many lives. It's going to change people's perspective of women's sports, women's boxing, of me, and they'll see that it's hard being a woman athlete, but the best of us who stay and continue to push and continue to not quit, continue to just um fight the best and can control our brains, that this is what all it takes to get here. And I'm just ready to inspire a whole new generation of people.
Yeah, the movie is very inspiring. I got a chance to see it when it premiered in Los Angeles, and I was really, I mean, I knew your story, but it's interesting when you see it all put together.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like much more powerful. And I think you had told me previously that, oh, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you tear up. It was a couple times I definitely got emotional. I didn't let that Denzel glory tear drop, but it was a few times that I got emotional. But I saw it has a 96% score already on Rotten Tomatoes. So, um, you know, how do you think this film, or were you at all anxious about how this film might be received?
No, I wasn't anxious about it. One thing I've known the whole time is that my story is very resilient. In that it's a story that needs to be told, that the sports world needs. Um, it's filled with so many different dynamics, and I just felt like I'm a different type of woman, right? And I've always been that way. And they're like, why is she like that? Where did this come from? Is she cocky or is she confident? Is
Mm.
she arrogant? Um, is she angry or is she just passionate? And I hope that when they watch the movie, they see that I'm very passionate about boxing. I am not an angry black woman who boxed because I was sexually abused and I want to be the men now.
Hmm.
That's not why I box. And it's kind of immature that people have that as a story about me for a very long time. And it's still like, but I'm breaking all these records. You guys think I'm breaking all these records just because I hate men? It don't have nothing to do with that. It's because I want to be great at something and I want to be remembered after I die. I always knew that my story is going to change so many lives, and I feel like God chose me to be the one to do it. God told me I win a gold medal the first time. He told me I win a gold medal the second time. And even though I had no idea what the professional ranks for the women held, he let me know, you're going to be the one to change women's boxing. You have to do it.
It's been a long time since I said this about a movie, but at the end of yours, I was thinking I could have had another 30 minutes of that, or another,
Mm-hmm.
like, it could have been like longer, in my opinion. And
the
I have
fire inside too.
you're right, because it does only, it takes you up to your professional,
Yep.
career. And of course, in the end notes, we know what happened. Obviously they update people about where you are, and they show actual footage of you. um were you concerned at all about how people close to you might see their portrayals?
Absolutely. And I'm happy that Ryan called me and was like, "Hey, what was the relationship like with your mom, at this age or at this stage of your life, and um everyone is okay with how they were portrayed because everything was the truth."
Okay, I was gonna ask you that. Like,
Yeah.
what percentage of this would you say? I mean, of course, it's Hollywood. They're gonna, it's gonna be some drama that they
Yeah.
will add, but like, what percentage of this would you say was true?
I would say 95% of it was true.
I mean, that's pretty good
For yes,
yeah,
for Hollywood,
yeah, it is,
it
yeah.
is.
Okay,
But I let them know, um, everything in the movie. I'm like, I want them to see the real stuff, to
right.
see like this is what I went through. This is how it was for me growing up. Like this is how it was. This is what I went through. And I want them to see it raw and uncut, just like T Rex was.
Mm. Um, One of I mean, pretty much the crux of the movie is your relationship with Jason Crutchfield, who was the person who sort of got you into the sport. He was your trainer, mentor, all those things. Um, what's your relationship like with Jason now?
We don't work together as far as in boxing, but every time I see him, it's still just a warm embrace. He always tell me he happy for me, he proud of me, and we're happy that we got this movie about our lives together. We're connected for life, and we won our first gold medal together. We won our first world title together in the professionals. And if Jason ever wanted to try to coach me again, I'll let him.
Would you?
I would. Look, the only thing is, it just I think the disconnect was the personal life of it. Even though he was like my dad, he didn't know how to separate the dad and the coach. And he kind of mixed it all up in one. And he made the rules being for both. Like, okay, dad say you can't date and coach say you can't date. So if you don't listen to dad, you don't listen to coach. And then if coach get mad, he put you out the gym. And it's just all this stuff that was going on. And I just remember like, dang, not that I should have listened, but it was just like I was grown at the time. And I had already accomplished getting the gold medal, so having a boyfriend wasn't a big deal to me. But if I knew what I know now, I would definitely go back in time, and I probably would have never, ever, ever, ever had a boyfriend.
It sounds like you're saying Jason might have been right.
You might have been right, but I did
Okay.
spend a great 4 or 5 years with that guy,
Okay.
and we're still friends now. But I just think I don't know if I had a daughter, I would tell her, wait till you're 25. I
And she would
would.
probably kind of do what you did, which is not listen,
Right.
because that's just how that's how it
Yeah.
goes. Was there anybody who didn't like how they were portrayed?
My dad. My dad didn't like how he was portrayed.
Hmm.
And my little brother is not even showcased much in the movie. But he was like, I think my character should have put more effort into it. And I'm like, dude, you were shot 3 times. 3 times. You don't shut up. And actually, the guy that played my little brother, I think, looked a lot like my little brother and talked like him and everything. And I was like, they did a great job casting this dude.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know why he was mad about that. I was like, Peanut, you weren't even in the movie, bro. Like, just stop. And then my dad is like, oh, me and Jason, because my dad and Jason never really had any friction. They may have had conversations and stuff like that, but never any friction. But I feel like, Hollywood had to kind of spin it a little bit. And so the conversation that they had, they just probably made it to where it looked like that. But my dad did pull up to wherever he's at, loud music all the time. My dad nickname is Bobo, but he's like hard body. He's hard body, and he's old school.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad is one of my biggest protectors, But he didn't like that in the movie. It showed him and Jason beef, and he like, I never beef with Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Jason always been cool, and they have.
What do you? How do you think that people in Flint will look at this? Because Flint is sort of like a character, and it show the city, some of the things is gone through. Because it wasn't lost on me, especially when they showed picture of the water plant. So, and we know about everything that's happened there with that. But how do you think people in Flint will look at this?
I was at the Flint premiere with over 400 people as they watched the movie in two different venues, and I can tell you, Flint was so excited. They're so happy about this. They're so happy about this. It showed the streets, Ryan Destiny running on the streets, Baltimore, North Saginaw, her being at Northwestern High School. It shows all this stuff, and people from Flint are like, "Oh my God, they probably still live on that street, or they ride down that street. They seen me running down that street. Now to see where I am, it gives everybody in the city hope. Like, wow, if she went through all that and still made it, then what's my excuse?"
Uh, Ryan, I thought, just in a little bit I've been around you, like she really had your mannerisms like down.
Yeah.
How much time did you all spend together?
I think Ryan's just great at what she do because we FaceTime 2 or 3 times. We always text, always, kept in touch. But I never was on set, not one time. Um, I was never on set. So Ryan did all of that. You have to give her kudos for that. Even when I seen it, I said, this is crazy. But she's an actress. And this is her breakout role. And I mean, even her boxing was so phenomenal to me. But I also told her, I said, girl, don't you mess up on that part. And I told Rachel, hey, if you guys need me to come and be the stunt man, let me know. But this boxing, we're gonna get it right. This is not Rocky. This is real and the greatest one of all time. We gotta get this boxing right. I don't know about the acting part. Y'all can figure that part out. But the boxing part, if y'all need me, let me know. And they never had to need me because Rob Sally did a great job training Ryan Destiny.
Once people who obviously don't understand the Hollywood process, but like once you give them your life, essentially, you're kind of out of the process a little bit. Was it hard for you to kind of turn over creative control and give someone license to narrate, or not license to shape your life in the way that they saw your life? Yeah.
No, I don't play like that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. My bad. I didn't mean to underboss you.
No.
Okay. You were very involved.
I'm very strict about how I'm portrayed, especially to the world, and how that's why I took over my own brand and let people start seeing who I was, because the people who I had in charge of my brand had me as some beast, and even my fans were scared of me, and it was like I didn't like that. So with the movie coming out, me and Barry sat and talked. Me and Barry Jenkins talked.
Who wrote the movie?
Who wrote the movie?
Yeah,
me and him talked for 4 or 5 hours when I met him.
Okay.
I asked him what was his perception of what my story was, and he told me. And I said, "Well, okay, I got you." And I said, "It's a few things that you missed out." I said, "This is my life." And then I said, we got to put our minds together to make this right. And then he was like, "Well, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about?" He asked his questions, and I answered everything truthfully. And then he was like, "So do you want to include that?" Absolutely. I want the truth in the movie. And before the script even they were able to start shooting, he sent me the script and said, I'm waiting on you to read it, and when you get back to me and let me know what you think, then I will, then we'll start. So he sent me the script, a few things. One or two things. I was like, take it out.
Okay.
And he was respectful of it, and he took it out. And from there, when they started doing the casting, like Rachel would reach out to me all the time, hey, we're doing the casting. Thousands of girls showed up. I even told a girl named who's an actress, Nifisa Williams. I was like, go, because I thought she could play me, right? And when she said, let me know that Ryan Destiny got the part, I said, okay, cool. Met Ryan Destiny over the phone. We talked, and she let me know I'm training very hard, but I was involved as much as I needed to be involved, and even before they started showing the premieres and everything, I seen the movie first. It was just me. I believe my publicist. It was here in LA. I seen it, and I am 100% for sure. Even though that the contract was signed, if I did not like the movie, if I didn't like how it was portrayed, I'm 100% sure that everyone would have went back and did things better, differently, fixed, whatever. I am 100% sure of that. So I think working with them was very simple and easy. and they also knew that if I didn't like it, I would be outspoken about it.
Mm.
You know, but not in a bad way, but just
you would have told them, yeah,
yeah, like this ain't it. What y'all do this for? But I literally love how the truth is in there and how it was portrayed because that's the truth.
Mm. What there's a lot of success just in the fact of getting a movie made, but um, do you have in your mind like what success looks like in terms of how this is received, how many people see it, how much money it makes? Is like what part of that, how will you judge and determine that about whether or not this movie you consider it to be a success?
It's already a success. You know, just the fact that I have a movie about my life at the age of 29 and I got to fight in 2 months. I'm still ranked #1 woman fighter in the world right now. So that's already a win in itself. It's a win for Ryan Destiny. She's getting so many awards, so many nominations. Um, I believe that the world is going to take to this movie. Now, of course, you want to see the box office numbers and you want to see all this stuff, of course. But I'm not going to let that detour how great this is for me. I mean, what other boxers have a biopic about their life? I tell you who.
Only, yeah,
Muhammad Ali.
that man right there, yeah.
George Foreman.
George Foreman. You're right. Yeah, I did see that movie. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think who else.
Well, I mean, not a feature film. I mean, what they did a series on Mike Tyson, right? I think that's probably what I can think of now. Um, but obviously, you're the first woman at the very least. You're the first
So
woman
it's like
boxer to have that.
This is big to me and it's well deserved. And to be a believer in Christ and have your movie come out on Christmas Day, I get to share my day with the most powerful man and person in the world.
Did you know that going in that it was going to be Christmas, or
no?
it just
They had
worked
told
out?
me August. The
Oh.
date changed so many times. First it was August, which I was happy about because I was fighting in July.
Mm.
And then they came back and said, "Oh, it's December," and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" And then they're like, "Oh, it's Christmas Day," and I was like, in my mind, and actually, I text Rachel. I said, "Who the hell go to the movies on Christmas Day?" And she wrote back and said,
A lot of people
Claressa,
do.
everybody.
I was gonna say,
but this is
do.
how much I'm out the loop.
You're right.
Like this shows how much I just train and work out and travel. I'm not thinking about those type of things. But I believe The Color Purple came out Christmas Day.
It did.
So
it did
now that everything is like dawning on me, I'm like, oh, this is really big.
This is a big, yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
You brought up your fight, February 2nd, Danielle Perkins. Has it been a challenge? You're promoting this movie. You have so much going on. Has it been a challenge in terms of preparing for that fight?
Well, it just got announced. So I've been in the gym the past 2 months already training and working out. But it is a challenge when you're traveling back and forth and you're going to all these different places and then you land where you can train, but your body's like you having jet lag and you're dehydrated because you haven't drank enough water, all this stuff. So it holds its challenges, but I'm happy that this is some of the last bit we got to do. And I already let them know, like, look, your girl need 8 weeks to train because who wants to have a movie come out about her life and then lose after? Kind of embarrassing, ain't it?
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be.
It's not even
ideal.
Just lose. It's more just like I'm gonna have millions of more new followers and fans. I gotta over win now. It's like, yeah, you can win, but you gotta
really make a statement.
Good.
Yeah.
Especially with all the hate right now. I got to show these folks.
So what looking at the evolution of the competition that you've had to face throughout your career as a professional, just talking about that part of it, how have you seen the competition evolve? Do you feel like women's boxing is in a stronger place because of you?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Women's boxing is a very stronger place because of me. I think that, me speaking about equality, me being on these brands, me being main event on Showtime, ESPN, HBO, DAZN, me having talks with these execs is changing women's boxing. I have real talks with them. I'm not a person who's going to come in a room and scream and yell and tell you to do what I say. I come with the facts. Hey, you guys, we got the next fight coming up. Last fight, you guys gave me trouble about how many viewerships we got, even though I got more viewership than everybody else. You guys said I should have got more viewership. Well, I believe I could have got more viewership if you guys promoted my fight 12 weeks instead of 4 weeks. You guys promote the men fight 12 weeks. And then they asked me, how do you know that? Well, I have proof.
Mm-hmm.
I'll screenshot it. You guys started promoting Adrian Broner fight this date, and his fight date was that date. You start promoting my fight, this date, and my fight was 4 weeks later.
Mm.
So you can't say, "Oh, I'm supposed to get more viewership" when I don't get the same amount of promotion.
Mm.
But that's a conversation you gotta have with them. It's not that they're sexist. It's just they're doing what they're used to doing. Women don't. Women just want the money. Oh, we want to be paid equal. That's it. Pay us equal. Pay us equal. And it was just like they're not realizing they're not paying us equal because of this, or they got all these different reasons why. But just let them know you guys are making this reason. You guys are doing this, so you have to fix your part and do the same that you do for us, for them. And then we can talk about the numbers. Now, if you promote my fight 12 weeks, like you do the men, and then I still get half the numbers that they get, then we know, oh, all right, it's not that. We got to fix something else. But that's not it, because I'm getting more numbers than the men, and we promote my fight 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and I get a lot of viewership.
Mm. I asked you about the competition just because I know, looking at boxing history, is that every great boxer needed a foe, almost.
Yeah, I had a few of them.
And you've had a few, but I mean, let's be honest, is that like you have destroyed a lot of your competition,
All of them.
which speaks to your individual greatness.
Yeah.
Have you felt like, that you need a George Foreman or a Joe Frazier? Like, have you felt like, hey, would you have liked to experience having like a real, like a rival, like some of these other boxing legends?
I've had rivals. Hannah Gabriel's being one, the girl who knocked me down in the first round.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right? It's crazy. Even though I won that fight unanimously. I mean, Savannah Marshall beat me in the amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
Me and her had a rough, rugged fight. I won unanimously, but it was rough and rugged. She was tough. Christina Hammer being my first girl who I ever really had a grudge match with, and who I thought we would have fought plenty more times. But hey, I destroyed her so bad the first fight. She didn't want to rematch me. None of these girls want to rematch me after I beat them. So those were my George Foreman fights. And
so you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah, like I mean, it's to be as skilled and as great as I am. It's like a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But I take it for more of a blessing because listen, if a girl can get in the ring with me and she can stand toe to toe with me, 10 rounds straight, go to war with me, have good defense, offense, not back down, and I will give her props. I'll give her props. But I'm never gonna make a fight like that on purpose. She gotta come in there with the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And if she ain't got the smoke, it's not my job to go in there and take it easy on her. If it's too hot in the kitchen, get out.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure, obviously, like a lot of people, you watch the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, and as it stands now, a lot of people have credited Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor as having the most watched women's sporting event of all time because it's 74 million viewers. You seem to have taken issue with that characterization that they're the most watched.
Is that the truth or a lie?
That's why I asked. Like, well, I was going to ask you.
I'm gonna ask you, and then I'll answer.
So, it is the truth from this regard.
Was it a sporting women's event?
It was not. So they were on a larger card.
Okay.
Yep, as you know.
All right. So. Mm-hmm. Just bear with me. Beginning of your sentence said it was the most watched women's sporting event with 74 million views, right?
Right.
And then I asked you, was it a sporting women's event? You said no.
It was not.
So how does that go hand in hand?
Right.
It don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a knock to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a knock. It's a win for women's boxing. But when I was the head of the bill, I got 4 million views. 2 million in the UK, 2 million in the US. Mm-hmm. Abroad, 4 million people, or over 4 million people watched the fight. We were the head of the bill. That's what you were promoting with. That's what you're going with. That's not the same here. Right. Now, did 50 million people tune in to gather around and make sure that they were in their seats and ready to watch when Mike Tyson came out? Because who doesn't want to see Mike Tyson fight? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that the girls are not worth the views. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, had they been the top of the bill without Jake Paul and Mike Tyson,
could they have carried that viewership.
would they have got
Yeah.
that viewership?
Right.
In their first fight, they got 1,000,000.5, and that's the issue I had with Cameron.
Yeah.
He says he's reading off QR cards, and I don't know much about boxing, women's boxing, but you get on the QO, you're reading the card. Oh, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor has the most watched women's boxing event in history with 1.5 million, and it's an article that shows you that I had 2 million viewers who watched the fight alone in just the UK. So that's my thing. It's not to take a knock from them. It just, they do things trying to make it seem like what I did. They're trying to make records that you guys are not breaking a record if you're not doing it the same way. It's not the same thing. They do have the most women's watched boxing match in history as a co-main event. I have the most watched women's boxing match as a standalone women's boxing event. That's it.
But you said you consider this to be, even though they were a part of a larger event or, within one, you consider it to be a win for women.
It's a win. Absolutely. Like, the girls stole the show.
Yeah, they had the best fight.
They had the best fight.
Like no
I
question.
Agree.
Yeah.
I mean, with the headbutt, the cut, the punches, the counter punching, Amanda with those strong hands.
Did you think the outcome was right? Did you think that was the right decision?
I did.
Okay.
I thought Katie edged it with her skill and her counter punching. When I watched it there in person, but then when I went home and watched it, I said, this could have been a draw.
You thought that was a win for women's boxing. Yes. Did you think the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight was a win for boxing, for men?
Jemele.
I'm just asking the question,
Listen, I'm glad Mike Tyson did whatever he wanted to do. Okay, I'm glad he went in there. I'm glad he fought. I'm glad I got to see him walk to the ring with my own eyes and see him inside the ring and box. It was a dream of mine, to just see that. Of course, I would love to see him knock Jake Paul out. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know you two have history, yes.
What did it do for boxing? It didn't do anything. But I'm happy for Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. I just it didn't do anything for boxing. I mean, you want to say, oh, we got viewership, but it's Netflix. Who doesn't have Netflix? And it didn't charge nobody to watch it. So, congrats to them, man. It's beautiful.
I asked you that about the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight because there's mixed opinions among boxing fans. Some people think that it's great for the sport. They look at the viewership, but a lot of boxing purists, they are a little disheartened that this is the kind of fight that has now become considered a premier fight. So do you still think that boxing, men's boxing, would you consider it in a healthy place if this is the kind of fight that becomes considered a marquee event?
Jake Paul is great at marketing. He's great at building his brand. And that's something that, I give him credit for. Me saying that he came from YouTube and just came to boxing and started making millions off the bat, and I got to work this hard and I got real accomplishments, that let me know that I need to build my brand. So I do, give credit to Jake Paul for that. Build my brand on YouTube, build my brand on Instagram, build my brand on Facebook, everywhere. Just build my brand, because your brand will last you longer once you're done with the sport anyway. And if you don't have a brand, it's like everything you did kind of disappears anyway, because there's always a new up-and-coming fighter or up-and-coming champion, and people. So I think that's where he's winning at, and I think everybody keep looking at, because boxing is such a real sport. It's a real fight in there. And they're trying to say that his fights aren't real. I mean, Jake Paul has a loss on his record. He lost to Tommy Fury. So he had a real boxing match. That's the realest one I thought that he had. And he lost. But you don't hear him talking about that. They just try to, we thought he won, but he lost. And he's trying to become a better boxer, but boxing is such a real sport. I think that these guys are overlooking that. They're overlooking that you have to build your brand outside the ring. It's not just about fighting anymore. We're not in that place and era of where social media don't matter. Like I grew up in a social media era where it's like you use this stuff to your benefit. People still kind of oh, we don't really play the internet games. We don't do social media. Da, da, da. Oh, having viewership and people watching your social media followers don't mean nothing. And I'm sorry to tell you, but it does mean something.
Mm.
How you looked at on social media, who follows you, how many followers you got. It matters. Sadly, no matter how great you are, it matters. So that's what is winning for him. Now, men's boxing, where is it at? They need to understand that you guys are getting paid millions, but people don't know you guys' name. They, they don't know what you do, what you stand for, what your life is about, who you are. They don't know. So once you're done boxing and all those 10 million, 5 million, 2 million paydays stop coming in, you just spent all your money. How can that's why you don't see a lot of boxers with endorsements and sponsorships, because they don't build the brands. I'm going to be one of the first boxers that you see that have deals and stuff like Serena Williams. It's going to happen because I'm putting in the work and I'm building my brand.
Is that in a way, I don't want to say, because you mentioned like, hey, this is just kind of what it is, but does it sometimes frustrate you that your accomplishments in some circles or in some regards, when we talk about marketing, getting the deals and all that, isn't enough? Like you talked about,
Yeah,
like how you have to market yourself, promote yourself, build your brand. Like that sounds like a lot of work. You know what I mean?
it absolutely is. And I have a great team who I
Mm-hmm.
work with now, PR team, styling team, hair, makeup. I have a great team that I work with now. Um, but I just said it to say, yeah, it's frustrating, but it's a part of it. Serena Williams, when I look at her, she played with the beats for a long time. She represented for the culture. But then, people start saying like, oh, she's strong, she's built like a man, da, da, da. And you never really seen her respond. You always just seen her kind of put her time into her work. And when you put her time into her work, that's when you seen that all these endorsements and sponsorships and everything came in. Like, she didn't pay that stuff no mind. I think the more you focus on yourself and your career and what you want to do, and you keep the outsider noise out, that's when you start to really elevate. And that's what I'm doing right now.
Mm. Is it, as you have won more and more and more, and sitting at the top of the sport, how do you handle that pressure? Because people are looking for you to lose. You have
Yeah.
some challenger you don't even know right now is at home thinking about like trying to knock you out.
Yeah.
So how do you handle dealing with like you're carrying a sport?
I train.
Mm.
That's it. Um, when you self-made, you know what I'm saying, and you get to where you got to because of you being you, you doing you, how you do you, and you know how you got to where you are. No handouts, nobody giving you nothing. It's like, I know how to stay at the top. I know what to do. I know what matters. So it's like, people, of course, everybody always want the winners to lose. People love controversy, like they love drama, they love a comeback story. But for me, it's like, I just believe in winning. And how do you win? You train, you have discipline, you focus, and you just do it. So
Mm.
I don't really hate come with the game,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always known as a young girl, and my coaches tell me all the time, women have to work 10 times harder than the men. He always told me that. So now that I'm a 15-time world champion, I'm like, yeah, now I'm about to start getting some endorsements and sponsorships and stuff. All right, cool.
Uh, for you, what motivates you now to keep going? I mean, it's hard to believe you're 29, like
Mm-hmm.
because it feels like you've been on the scene for so long. But what would you say is your motivation now?
My motivation for me is that I haven't gotten to where I want to get to yet.
Mm.
And it's not in boxing, I could retire right now. I'm going down the Hall of Fame,
Right.
you know. But and be regarded as one of the greatest women boxers to ever live. I get that, but it's like, I still girls I want to fight. I got records I want to break. I got a vision of myself that's so big, and it's like, that's what motivates me. It's like, I have to get there to feel that satisfaction for me, not nobody else. For me, I got to get there.
Mm. Have you thought about, or how much have you thought about how much longer you want to do this? Because boxing is,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those sports that it has a certain shelf life because of the physicality. So how much longer do you, or how much thought have you given to how long you want your career to be?
I've been boxing 18 years now. you know, and I think I'm going to retire when I'm boxing at 26. So I have 8 more years in boxing. So those who thought they wanted me to go
8
ahead,
years?
8 years, 38, I'm going to retire.
Really?
And
Why that number? Why?
I don't know, because I think if I don't retire at 38, I'm going to be boxing until I'm 50. So it's just like, but you know what though? Also too, I'm saying 38, but if I'm still in great shape and I can whoop these girls at 40 and 50,
You would do it?
what? Why not? Bernard Hopkins did it.
You're right.
You know,
He was
so
boxing at 50, I think he was.
he was boxing at 50. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm just like that. But that's the age. You know, I feel like 26 years boxing. I think I'll be like, okay, I've done enough fighting. I don't have. You know what? I'm going to retire when that bone in me, when it like come to a fight, when like the fire don't light up. That's when I retire. And I'm thinking that age would be 38. It's not gonna be before then, but it's like if somebody challenges me and I don't get like, oh, you challenging me? You think you can beat me? You want to fight me? And I don't get that hunger to go train and work, and then I retire. But till then, I'm just gonna keep beating these girls up.
Dare I say, I guess if the fire inside is not there,
That's it. If the
that's
fire
not what it
inside
is.
is not
If the
there, then
fire inside is not there, then
yeah.
you're like, I won't box. Now, you're the first woman in boxing to get a 7-figure payday for a
Yes.
fight. Um, when you think about your legacy, do you think what you have, individually, you've been able to accomplish all these things financially in the sport, but do you think the success, the financial success that you've established that women's boxers can have, you think that's sustainable? Like, do you think that if there's another woman that comes along who, is able to accomplish some of the same things that you did, that she's going to get a payday that is as big or bigger than yours? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That
I
you've
think the
laid the
girls.
foundation.
Yes, I am creating a full blueprint.
Okay.
I'm a promoter, so I got T-Rex Promotions. So I actually promote a woman fighter, and I'm giving her all the jewels and stuff that I know, so she can get her big paydays too. It's a blueprint now on how you make $1 million, even if you don't have the gold medals, and that's shown with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. You know that they made $1 million, and I've made $1 million, and I'm trying to think, is there any other woman that made $1 million in boxing? I think it's just us for right now, but I am letting it know like it is a blueprint, and the biggest blueprint is build your brand.
In terms of pay equity, another thing that you fought for, is when it came to the Olympics, for a female boxer to get paid the same as they do for male boxers when they're training and everything for the Olympics. And I looked it up and I saw that I think it was in 2022, Congress actually passed a law that said that American athletes who are representing Team USA in international competitions, you have to pay them the same regardless of gender. And it feels like that was a fight that you fought and you won. So when you think about the legacy that you have left as someone who fought those kind of battles, how does that make you feel about your purpose?
You know, I always wanted to stand for something bigger than myself, and that's why I told Team USA, listen, if you guys don't pay us like you pay the men, I won't even go back to the 2016 Olympics, and I'm the reigning Olympic champion. And they're like, okay, you got it. And the women were getting paid the same as the men. You know, I was getting paid 5,000 a month actually leading up to the Olympics. It wasn't three. It say three in the movie, but it was actually five because I was returning Olympic gold medalist. So I was getting paid more than the men actually.
Mm.
Um, but I think that's where the fight started at. But I didn't know that things were so unequal like that because all I did was focus on boxing. You know, it wasn't until I had a conversation with the men like, how much y'all get paid a month? You know, people don't have those conversations because they say, oh, some people can't talk they contracts and checks or whatever the case may be. But I was just like, I was curious how much I make a month, and they had tell me, I'm like, really? Huh? That's interesting. And I mean, I just didn't grow up around that type of stuff. Like when I was at the gym with all the guys, coach didn't make me run less. I didn't punch the bag less. I didn't spar less. I did everything like the guys, so I didn't think that these differences between men and women even existed until I got a little older. I'm like, oh, this is what these girls were talking about. Oh, okay. So now that I know about it, I joined the fight for it. Now, when I turned pro, my first, I reached out to Layla Ali and Ann Wolf, and I asked Ann Wolf how much was her highest payday in boxing. She told me 50K. I said, but you're a world champ. You only 50K. I asked that Layla Ali. This is word. This is word. This is on my grandmother. I asked her how much did you get paid for your highest payday? She told me 600,000. And I said, in my mind, I said, okay, so it's possible. In my mind, I said, it's possible for me to make a high of 600K. That's what I thought to myself. So to be able to make $1 million, I was like, wow, how did we get here? But that's how I knew that women's boxing had changed. But my first payday in boxing, my first professional fight, I got paid 50K. That's when I knew. I said, see, times is changing. Stuff is changing. And I didn't know how or where. I knew it had a lot to do with me and my Olympic gold medals, but I said, I got to keep building off of this. So every time when I fought, I let them know, hey, I got to go up 25,000, 50,000, 100K. When I became undisputed, I told them to double my check. And they were like, oh, Claressa, no woman's ever made 350K in boxing. Well, I said, you won't be seeing me in the ring unless you pay me it. I'm undisputed now. And it was a fight you guys all thought I was going to lose. And you put me in here with this girl that was 21-0 with 10 knockouts. And I had 7 fights. Y'all paid me 150 for the fight. Or I think it was 175. I said, my next fight better be 350 or I'm not fighting. So my promoter that. I chose Showtime that. And they were like, Claressa, no woman is making that kind of money. I said, okay. And I sat at home for about a month. And I was like, no phone call, you okay? All right, cool. Now all of a sudden my promoter called me and say, hey, Claressa, we got it. I said, you got what? We got you 350. Okay. What's the date? When we fighting? Undisputed champions back.
Now, you've been able to win in so many different weight classes, and to prep for our interview, I was reading this one story that I think they called your new class the Claressa weight, because it's like you established I can fight at whatever I need, to fight at. But do you have a weight you prefer to fight at?
168, 160.
Okay.
That's I feel the best at 168. I feel good at 160. I mean, I feel deprived at 154, but I went down there and I fought and I beat all the girls there. But 60 and 68 is where I'm comfortable at. I mean, 75 plus for heavyweight is cool too. But I find a way to be comfortable at whatever weight class that I'm at. I do the dieting right. I be strategic. I have a great nutritionist team. Shout out to Perfecting Athletes. So I think I feel good everywhere, but 68 is like naturally where I'm like, okay, that's where I kind of belong at. 68.
Now that you've gotten a little taste of Hollywood, I mean, you see that, boxers, and I know you flirted with MMA before.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of athletes in your position make that turn into acting, make that turn into doing entertainment. Is that something that you've considered?
Now, I've done some acting.
I do.
Okay, so yes. I don't believe in like, oh, you should wait till retire to do the acting. Right. So I've done some acting now, and I actually have a movie role coming up that I have to get ready for. I'm playing a cop.
What?
In a movie, so yeah, hopefully we, if that's on a big platform, you guys be able to see it. But if you don't see it on the platform, you see it on my page for sure. So I'm playing a cop.
Okay.
It's other movie opportunities, but right now I've been so busy on promoting the movie, and now I just start promoting my next fight, and that's what I've been focused on. But I do want to be an actress. That's what I want to do, and I'm not going to wait till after I'm done boxing to do it. I feel like I can still do some stuff now. And I want to be more motivational speaker. I want to model. It's so many things that I want to do that I feel like I can do. I just have to find the time to do it.
One of my favorite stories involving you is, and you put this on your Instagram page, is when old girl, when the woman showed up at the gym. Because you were like, listen, this is where I am. If you want the smoke, come up here. And this was somebody, I guess you sort of mentored a little bit, right? Like that had reached out to you and said, hey, you know what, I want to be you. I want to be a fighter for real in this game, and you know, offered to mentor them. But then things went left, and somehow they thought that they could talk slick to you, and you let her know where she could show up. And when she showed up, I'm thinking she didn't realize that was probably the wrong decision. So,
Yeah, yeah.
because I selfishly seeing how slick people talk on social media, for those of us, you know, I mean, I ain't got hands like that, but there are so many times that I wish I could put my hands on some of these people
Yeah.
who talk slick across social media. So yeah, why don't you tell me about girl?
You know, Mike Tyson said it best. Social media has made people like comfortable that they can say whatever they want without getting hit in the mouth for it.
Correct. It's a lot of people out
And
here who ain't never had their ass whooped and they talk like it.
and they need it.
Yeah, they do.
You know, and I would say with that, I didn't tell her to come to the gym. I didn't invite her to come to the gym. I had my $100,000 challenge going on, like any girl, you know.
That's what it was.
It
It was the challenge. Yes, I was like, I thought it was part of something
but
lighter. Yeah.
She never reached out and said she wanted to do a challenge. I just showed her to the gym to spar against these two grown men, professional fighters, to get ready for my championship fight, July 27th, that I had. And she trolled me so much. I got over 1 million followers, but she trolled me so much that it was like, I know this girl, like, I know this girl face now. I know her voice now. Like, she trolled me so much. So as I'm walking into the gym to start getting ready to spar against these men, I see her.
So she just showed up unannounced. I thought you told her like, hey,
Nah,
if you got all that smoke, this is
nah.
where I'm gonna be. Ah, okay.
So I'm showing up to do what I do, and that's prepare for my world championship fight that I have coming up in Detroit at Little Caesars in front of 19,000 people. I got to get ready. And I walk in the gym, and my eyes, I looked in the ring because I like to know who around. I looked in the ring. I said, "Oh, I know this bitch." All right, then I said, Claressa, shh. And then all of a sudden, I clicked out. I'm not gonna lie, I clicked out. I walked into the ring. She like, yeah, Claressa, I told you when I see you what was up. I said, what you here for? Why you at my gym for? And she said, um, she said, I'm here to get a couple rounds, spar with you. I said, I'm about to fuck you up. Well, I told her, I said, I'm gonna fuck you up bad. And then and then I was like, I got you for one round. She was like, I didn't call out work to come get one round. I said, that's all you gonna last. One round for you. One. Then she got the argument, we ain't going 2 rounds, I'm about to leave. I said, you think you about to leave me? You disrespect me? Man, I tried to run up and hit her outside the ring. I was so mad. Then all of a sudden, my ex-fiance grabbing me, my homegirl Beatty grabbed me, my best friend Nene grabbed me. I'm like, y'all need to, don't nobody touch me. I done clicked out because it's something about, I don't disrespect nobody.
Right.
I don't do that. Like, I'm a person that if I disrespect you, I want you to disrespect me back. Like, I won't smoke. If I walk up to you, I'm talking trash. I expect you to talk trash back. And if you want to get active, we get active. That's what I expect. That's why I don't do that. I don't do that. But it was like the fact that she tried to make it seem like somebody's scared of her. She this, she that, and what? Listen, I don't duck no smoke. Zero. Like I'm changing my brand, of course, all that good stuff, but do not play with me. I'm not one of them. Man, she got dressed. We went in the ring. I said, enough talking to you, because she got the cursing and your boyfriend this and your boyfriend that, and I'll make you my beat. She was talking crazy. I said, okay, that's how I am. I don't like all this. Shut up. I want to fight. I want to put my hands on you. That's me. That's why with social media, I be like kind of bait girls in, like, do you want to fight or not? You want to scrap? Like, what's up? So I don't do all that talking because everybody can do it. Everybody can do the talking, but can you really back up what you say? I'm a backer upper. So she got dressed. We got in the ring. We had a ref in there. I said,
I like to say, it's got anybody
I
watching
said,
right now, go see the video because it's
it's on my YouTube.
it's on your YouTube, and I could tell when you hit that girl the first time. I was like, oh no, this going bad.
I was trying to knock her out. And then the thing is, I got so much class when it comes to boxing, that when she started covering up, I stopped hitting her. I stopped hitting her. I said, man, I've been to kill this girl. I'll be in jail somewhere. And then she, oh, her on her stomach, holding her head. I was like, look at you, stupid. But you know what? Sometime, Jemele, just hear me out. Just hear me. Sometimes you gotta make an example out of people.
You are preaching to the choir.
That let all the girls who was considering trying to get the 100K, or who was considering trying to come to the gym and disrespect me, that let them know, oh, she professional,
right?
But she from the street. She gonna kick our ass. We come down here.
Did anybody take you up on 100K?
Come on now. I think the first one had to be the girl who came out to the gym.
Now you gotta, that 100K was like if they can beat you.
If they can beat me, yeah.
Oh God. Oh my God.
It ain't either just show up.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, everybody.
I was about to say, because I was like, right now, I'll let you fire on me right now for 100K. I was like, I'll be looking like Martin after that Tommy Hearns episode, but I'll let you fire on me right now for 100K. As you just said, as we wrap up here, so I ask every guest that appears on Spolitics here what I call the messy question. Now, you mentioned you don't duck the smoke, and anybody who follows you on social media says that you don't duck the smoke. You get paid to fight. Yeah. So, given the recent events, I am wondering, what would it take? How much money would it take for you to jump in the ring with Remy Ma?
Jemele.
Just want to know.
At this point, the girl leaked my number.
She leaked your number?
Oh my God.
What? Your actual telephone number?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So at this point, you can give me $1 and I'll put my hands on it. $1. It don't have nothing to do with whatever else. Mm-hmm. It's just that part alone. That part there is where it's like, I'm a businesswoman. Don't leak my number.
Right.
Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you should have came to me like Shirley.
Hello, Barbara. This is Shirley. And you too young to know about Hello, Barbara. This is Shirley.
I guess I got an old soul.
You do. Oh my gosh, she's too young to know about Hello, Barbara. This is Shirley.
For real. But it's more thing like. But she's not no boxer. You know what I'm saying? If she ain't no boxer, so I don't want to have to put my hands on her.
Do you? I have to say, like I was so surprised when I saw you trending. I'm thinking, like, did she beat somebody up? Like, what happened? Is it a fight that I missed it? And I was like, oh my. Were you surprised at everything that happened? Like, all of a sudden you're trending, people trying to put your personal life out there. How did you basically handle it? I mean, I saw some of the comments that you made on social media, but for you, that had to be a bit surprising because you're out there in the public, but this is a much different way.
Well, I have decided that moving forward that I would like my dating life to be private. Right. You know what I'm saying? And there's plenty of reasons why. Mm-hmm. I don't really care about outside perception of myself. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I wasn't surprised when I seen that. I said, "Oh my God." But it's one of those things where it's like, don't people love to spin narratives, and it's like, we all know that this woman had a boyfriend. Mm-hmm. We all know that. And this situation is so weird because it's like we fall asleep on the phone all the time. Right. So just like to see this and just like, okay. But I don't know. I thought it was weird and strange, but drama sells. That's it. Drama sells, and it's not. I'm not in that beef. Only my smoke with her is posting my number. It don't got nothing to do with him. Mm-hmm. It was her posting my number. Right. So people like, oh, she wants to fight her over a dude, whatever. Stop it. That is so beneath me. It was the disrespect of the leaking my number part. And that's it. Other than that, I don't got nothing else to do with none of that other stuff. Nothing. Mm-hmm.
Well, the timing of it, I mean, a lot of people were going to see your movie anyway, The
Christmas
Fireside.
Day, The Fire
You
Inside
know,
comes
now
out in 10 years.
there's there might be another curious contingent that comes to see to try to figure out, like, I wonder what her backstory is. But for all those who are watching it, listening, like, the movie really is good. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. Like,
It
it's
is
a
a
good movie.
great movie.
Yeah.
I watch sports movies. I've watched Michael Jordan series. I have watched the Muhammad Ali biopic where Will Smith portrayed him. I have watched Creed. I watched every Rocky. This is one of those movies where it was like, wow, this may be one of the best ones.